Success on the racetrack is built on relationships between owners, trainers, breeders, and horses themselves. That's why at Dean Dorton, our team takes a personal approach to everything we do. For years, we've had the privilege of working alongside thoroughbred owners and industry organizations, providing full-service support through one trusted team. From tax planning to accounting, advisory, and technology services, we help simplify operations and support long-term success. We believe the best advice comes from truly understanding your goals, your operation, and what matters most to you. As presenting sponsors of OwnerView, we're honored to support education that empowers thoroughbred owners. Visit deandorton.com/equine to learn more about how Dean Dorton's equine team can help you gain a winning edge. That's deandorton.com/equine. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed today's discussion.
Elite power to the front at the 16th pole.
Very clear. Going to take the rear to sprint.
But Elite Power does it again.
Zippity Bond of it have in the back, 550,000. Thank you.
Down a minute to go down, anybody else ground and to get all through, well done. $1,050,000, $1,050,000 and a half. $1 million, Blake, thank you.
Judd Mondt.
At Muirfield Insurance, we understand that every horse is more than just an animal. They are partners in achieving greatness. We offer comprehensive insurance for racehorses, sport horses, and farms, ensuring they receive the utmost care. This allows you to concentrate on what's truly important. Muirfield Insurance. We're here to protect your passion. Visit us today at muirfieldinsurance.com.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2026 Online Thoroughbred Owner Conference Series. And I'm Gary Felter. I'm with the Jockey Club. And this is the fourth of 10 panels that we're offering this year in our series of webinars that take place here in 2026. So today's panel topic, we're going to talk about tools and programs you can use for attending thoroughbred auction. And as the panel progresses, please use the Q&A feature on your screen to submit questions about the topics we're talking about. And at the end of the session, we'll try to get to as many questions as time allows. Now, before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to recognize our sponsors, starting with the presenting sponsors, Bessemer Trust, Keeneland, and Dean Dorton Equine. Our panel sponsors today are Muirfield Insurance and Judd Mondt Farm, and the Q&A sponsor is West Point Thoroughbreds. And our sincere thank you for all the sponsors, their continued support of thoroughbred ownership and supporting this webinar series. And you can see on the screen all the sponsors we have this year, and it's a great group, and we're very appreciative sponsors. So today we're fortunate to have four speakers who have considerable experience in developing and offering and even using a variety of tools and programs to assist owners at the sales. So I'd like to introduce our speakers, and I'm going to start with Eric Mitchell. Welcome, Eric.
Hi, Gary. Good to see you today.
Good. Known Eric for many years. He's with the Blood Horse. He is the Bloodstock editor for the Blood Horse. Next, I'd like to bring in Tim Leith. Welcome, Tim.
Hey, thanks for having me today, Gary.
Yeah, and Tim and I are co-workers for many years at the Jockey Club and Equine Line, and we've known each other for many, many years. Reed Ringler. Welcome, Reed.
Hey, Gary, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Reed is now with Keeneland in their sales department. He's got a lot of experience in the whole sales arena. I've known you for many years, Reed. Glad you're here.
Thanks, Gary.
And last but certainly not least is Jacob West. Welcome, Jacob. Okay, Jacob, he's with Claiborne Farm right now, and also is the founder of West Bloodstock. So welcome, Jacob, and we've known each other for quite some time. All right. So we're going to get started with some questions for the speakers. And then again, audience, if you have any questions, just use that Q&A feature and we'll answer those at the end. So I'm going to start off by talking about a sales catalog page. So at every auction, each horse is represented by a one-page pedigree that highlights things like the three-cross pedigree, the sire line, and the female family. So we're going to show a pedigree on the screen from a recent Keeneland sale of a yearling by Tappet. And I'd like to take a moment and just talk about this page. What you can see on the screen is at the top is the 3-cross pedigree. Right below that is the Tapit sire line, and below that is the female family. So let's talk about, speakers, what does this page represent? What's included, what's not included, and let's just start from that point. So Reed, you've been involved with auctions for many, many years. In fact, all you guys have. So Reed, why don't you start off by just talking about this page and what it represents?
Thanks, Gary. Well, way back in my announcing days, it was always important to know what horse was in the ring. So that hip number on the upper left-hand side was always very important. Of course, you had to have your consignor on there and what barn number, so your buyers would know where to go and find the horses. Have to be able to identify every horse, so you have a gray or roan filly. Foaling date, so important, obviously, when the buyers are looking at horses, so they know the maturity of the horse in front of them. And then really, obviously, this is a beautiful pedigree going down to Winning Colors as your second dam, but you're trying to accentuate all the highlights in the pedigree. Obviously, if you've got a broodmare that's selling, you might focus in on her produce record at the bottom of the page a little bit more. But when we're looking at yearlings, you're going to have the sire on top of the first dam down to the second dam. And if it's a huge page like this, you never even get to the third dam on there. And that's where Jockey Club information systems and Equine Line can help you out. But this is really kind of the bare bones to get started. This is just basic information that every buyer and seller has got to have going into an auction.
And just as a comparison, I mean, this is the single page, but this pedigree, the other day I ran a 3-dam unedited pedigree on Equine Line, came out to 27 pages of an unedited pedigree. And then I ran the edited version of this, which I think is a product 40, and it still came out to 5 pages. So Tim, let's jump over to you. Actually, let me give the other guys a chance. Jacob, what jumps out to you on the screen when you're looking at a horse? So why don't you jump in and give us your thoughts on this single page pedigree?
As Reed pointed out, I think the general specifics of when the horse walks out in front of you when you're at the sale, you want to be able to identify who the horse is by its hip number, and then kind of put together the puzzle pieces from there as far as birth date at the top of the page, sire, dam, broodmare sire, and then what the female family looks like underneath it. So it's kind of a quick reference guide for when you're shopping the sales, to just be able to kind of span through those and review the horse as quickly as possible while it's in front of you.
Okay. So Tim, again, I ran an unedited pedigree, 3-dam pedigree, 27 pages. So this process begins after somebody enters a horse at Keeneland or one of the sales, and then it comes over to TJCIS to their catalog writers. So talk about the process. How do they whittle this down from 27 pages to a single page? And with 4,000 horses in a typical Keeneland sale, how do you ensure that there's consistency within the pedigrees? Because that's an awful lot of pedigrees.
Yeah, an awful lot of questions, Gary. Thank you. This pedigree that we're looking at for a sales horse is a one-page advertisement. So it's extremely important to cast this individual and its family in the best possible light. So with that being said, there's a lot of rules that go into inclusion or exclusion on these pedigrees. For example, as the others have already pointed out, we've got black type or stakes quality horses throughout the first and second dam. So it's really not hard in order to just bring forward the positives or the strengths of this family and who the top runners are. It does get a little bit more challenging on a family that isn't quite as strong as this one to make it look as best as possible. But shortly speaking, it's just rules based. Grade 1 winners are going to appear above grade 3 winners, and a regular stakes placer is going to fall below that of a grade 1 winner as well. So a lot of rules that go into it, and that's really it. Now, speaking of our individual organization, I think it's important for people to understand that we have a team of catalog writers that actually take these pages, even though we've got programmatic, formulas that are going to cast these horses in the best possible light, it's still not going to be a single one-page pedigree that fits in the 48 lines on this female side. So we actually have human intervention here to make sure we are always casting these individuals in the best light possible, so that when they get their 90 seconds in that ring, that page looks just as good as possible for sellers, consigners, buyers alike.
So that set of rules that you have from, I would assume, from Keeneland or the sales company, those rules are followed so that there's consistency throughout the catalog?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. That's very well said. Each of the sales companies may have a little bit slightly different tweak on the rules for inclusion of purse money earned. But ultimately speaking, everybody plays by the same rules, which are really set internationally. So there's a lot of cooperation internationally with the International Cataloging Standards Committee, as well as SETA, the Society of Thoroughbred Auction Houses. So there's a lot of international collaboration so that everybody globally is recognizing the same races as grade 1s or grade 2 races. So yes, there is a lot of cooperation rules as well as, but you know, for all intents and purposes, a horse cataloged at Keeneland should look very similar to that of a horse cataloged at Magic Millions in Australia or that at Tattersalls as well.
Okay, all right, great point. So, all right, so Eric, so we've talked about the catalog page. We can go ahead and take that down. You got that single pedigree, but there's a lot of information that's not there. So Eric, Blood Horse, you've got a product called the Auction Edge. So can you spend some time just showing the audience what this product is and how it could, help them and assist them at the sale beyond what that single page showed?
Sure. Absolutely. We'll do that. That is that's what the cover of an Auction Edge looks like. This one is for the Ocala Breeder Sales June 2-year-olds on training and horses of racing age sale, which is coming up, and the under tax show for that sale just started today. So we deal with a lot of different sales. There's 2-year-old sales, there's yearling sales, there's mixed sales, and so all the information that you're going to see varies slightly, changes slightly depending upon the age of the horse and what kind of horse it is and what kind of history of the horse you want to see. But really what it all comes down to with the Auction Edge is you have two goals here, and that is, one, to help you assess the talent of the horse that you're looking at that's in front of you and what the family may tell you about what that horse could potentially do. And then also this information helps you get a ballpark idea of what that horse might be worth. What are you potentially going to spend? So the horse here is Hip 192 that I've pulled is from the OBS June sale. It's a filly by Uncle Mo. You can see at the very top here, you're going to see the hip number. So that corresponds with the catalog page. This horse happens to be named Jamocha Shake. She is by Uncle Mo, and she is out of Chocolate Pop, and this is the broodmare sire, QV. And then you also can see who the breeder is of the horse, which I think is an important piece of information because there are certainly, breeders who have had long histories and generations of success. So
if I could say, Eric, so that's information that doesn't appear on the catalog page. So you look at
the breeder does not appear.
No, right. Okay, so that's good to know.
So that's additional information. And then over here you'll see this little letter grade, and that's the True Nicks letter grade. And True Nicks is a program system that we put together. It's been about 10 years now, I think. So the True Nicks rating only looks at the sire line and the broodmare sire line. It looks at how what that cross has produced. It looks at number of foals. It looks at winners. It looks at stakes winners. And really, it's looking at, basically what has this cross done? What is the opportunity of these two horses presented, looking at it by foals? And so based on the success of that cross, the historical success of that cross, you get a letter grading, and it can be an A, B, C, it can be a D, it can be an A++, it can be a B+. I like to always stress with True Nicks that, this is really this gives you, the 36,000 foot view of what a pedigree has done. And you really need to dig in and look at the individuals and what they've done to really get a good handle on what the value, what the prospect of that cross is. So the other things that you will see in this on the Auction Edge page is you're going to see sale histories, and that's a big part of assessing what the potential price value is of the horse that you're looking at. And in this case, this filly went through the OBS April sale where she was a buyback, so she did not meet the reserve price that was set on her. Okay. Her final price was $240,000, not a bad price. And
that was just this year. That was just a couple of months ago.
So that was just, a month ago. So, okay. And then you can see that also when she went through as a yearling, Fasig-Tipton, Kentucky October sale, she sold for $200,000. So, so she's been a solid six-figure horse every time she's gone through an auction.
Okay.
So, one of the things that you're now going to look at, and you will see this on the catalog page. You'll look at the first dam. Here you'll see Chocolate Pop. She was stakes placed. You will see that on the catalog page. What this will show you in addition to that is you will see an Equibase speed figure, which is her best Equibase speed figure. And then you'll see the Thorograph numbers that she produced as a racehorse. One thing that's important to note, particularly with two-year-old training sale, is when you see the italics in a horse, and you see it here with Chocolate Pop, look down here with one of her progeny, Sharp Smile, and then when you scroll down, you see with her best foal to date, Aero Force, all in italics. That tells you that that horse won as a two-year-old. So okay. If it's a two-year-old in training sale and you're looking for a horse, maybe you're an owner that maybe likes a little action sooner than later, then you're going to pay attention to a mare that not only won herself at 2, but has already produced 2 horses that won at 2. So okay. That's something to pay attention to. And then same with the black type rules. If it's a mixed case, boldface type, that's a stakes placed. If it's in all caps, like we see here in Aero Force, that's a black type winner. And clearly, Aero Force was a talented horse, a grade 2 winner. And then you'll get to see all that. You'll see his race record. You'll see his class performance index, the CPI, and that's an index that shows how that horse was, what his earnings were relative to every other horse he was running against that year. So he had a CPA of 11, just over 11. You look up here with Papa Chalk, had a CPI of a little over, of over 2, 2.8, almost 3. So relative to other horses that they're running against the average earnings, that's a measure of the earning capability. And then again, you get to see the sale histories. When Aero Force went through the OBS April sale, he sold for $350,000. So these are all things that you can use to kind of build your model of of what ability you see in the family, and then likely what you might need to pay. Interesting note, this horse did work today. She worked in 21, worked a quarter mile, was one of 7 horses that worked that distance today, the last time I checked, and they all worked in 21. So she's worked a tick better than she did in April. So it'll be interesting to see how she does.
Okay, all right. A couple questions I have. So the information I'm looking at on the screen, does it go beyond the first dam? Does it go into the second dam, or are they mostly focused on the first dam?
Similar to what you're going to see in the catalog page, it depends on how much information is there to share. So in this case, you have a first dam who's produced a lot of foals, and so there's a lot of history there. So in this particular case, you only see the first dam, but we do go to second dam. If this mare were to have only produced 2 foals or 3 foals, then you would see second dam information.
Okay. And so as I'm looking at this, you've got every hip from that sale represented with a page like this. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
And as far as the cutoff date, is this a couple weeks before the sale when you produce this, or 30 days out? I mean, how close to the sale is this information?
As a general rule, we try to get this done 2 weeks out from a sale, but we have seen some more flexibility among the sales companies in terms of adding horses to a sale because they want to provide as much opportunity as they can to both buyers and sellers. So it has been a little bit of a challenge for us for some sales when horses get entered later. So that may push back the production of this book, so it's more like a week and a half before a sale.
Okay.
But we do provide a print copy, and we do provide a searchable PDF. And so clearly the PDF is a lot quicker to turn around and shoot out and send people in an email so they have it.
So you have it both in print and digitally.
That's correct.
Okay, great. So as I'm thinking about the pedigree we looked at a moment ago, the things that aren't on that pedigree that you have in Auction Edge, if I wrote these down right, the breeder name, the True Nicks rating, speed figures, a lot of different auction results, 2-year-old winners showed in italics, and class performance index. And so as a tool beyond the catalog page, that's a lot of information.
Yeah, there is a lot. And then also race, another important thing I would say is you get to see the racing class of the horse. Like we talked about Papa Chalk here. This horse won in an allowance company at Woodbine. That gives you some idea in addition to seeing the speed figures of the quality of the horse.
Okay, well, great. So while we have this on the screen, Jacob, you're an end user of these products and services. How do you and others who are buyers out there use Auction Edge to create your short list and to give you that extra information?
I would say while I'm at the sale, the catalog page is more important. And then kind of as I go home at night, I'm scouring the Auction Edge to just build up more of a case for a horse that I like, or maybe that I'm on the fence about. And much like Eric said, it's easy to go through and kind of see the class of the family, see how their kind of the race record of siblings, their class within that race record that he was talking about with the CPI. I'm a firm believer in looking at the Thorough Manager numbers and the Equibase numbers. So it kind of shows you, speed, precocity, siblings and what they've done. We buy a lot of horses, so I always like to look back and say, oh yeah, we bought a half brother, half sister to this horse, and kind of compare them through that. So it's a very, very, very helpful tool for us.
Well, and we're a data industry, whether you're reading a program at the racetrack, trying to handicap a race, to trying to research pedigrees on horses. I mean, it's all about the data that's put in front of you as another tool to help people make informed decisions. So Okay, well, that's great. We'll probably come back to Auction Edge a little bit later. So I want to jump over to Reed and talk about what Keeneland does after the sales catalog is out. So the sales catalog is out, probably been out for a little while, and there's that racing that's going on, and there's updates going on. So Keeneland provides updates to the catalog page at no cost to the viewer, which I think is fantastic. So talk about how often these updates are done on a regular basis, and where can viewers find these updates, Reed?
Well, the whole, Jacob brought up this being a giant puzzle with a lot of puzzle pieces. And as far as September goes, we're trying to look at over 3,000 puzzle pieces. They're out there in the rain today. So that's kind of where all of it starts. But ultimately, the finish line for us is August 11th. When the online catalog comes out, and we're all picking up our iPads and scouring through them. But the dynamic pedigree is kind of where we are today, and things are happening so fast. Who knows where we are 2 years from now? But the dynamic pedigree is going to be an excellent new feature. And I think for updates, you'll get on your app, you'll pull up a pedigree. There will be a blue updates tab on the right-hand side. And basically those updates are going to be generated daily now, or nightly, I should say. And I mean, it'll update obviously races, stakes races, earnings, and all those will be in color as you go down the page. You know, and for somebody like again, Jacob, who's an end user, just having that at your fingertips and not having to go back and forth or wait for them to scroll across a screen while you're in the back ring, or phone a friend. I think just to have all this right in front of you. Again, we're just trying to get as much handicapping information as we can, as fast as we can, to everybody that's participating at a sale.
Well, and if you think about it, it wasn't that long ago that those regular updates were not available. And if somebody wanted an update, they went to the equine line booth there at Keeneland, you know, where they had, you know, complimentary pedigrees, but you had to run them on many, many horses to be able to see if there was any changes. Now it's so dynamic. It's amazing how it's changed in just a few short years. And Tim, I don't even think you have that booth there anymore, do you?
No, you bring back some painful nightmares. But, yeah, it is vastly different now. And as Reed pointed out, those updates are run every night. And then a complete refresh on those every weekend, just to make sure the sire lines, everybody's got same updated information. Everybody's playing at the same game, same field, same rules.
Yeah. Okay. So that segues next into the next portion I want to talk about, Tim. So, you know, when people attend the sales, you see a lot of buyers walking around with their iPads. Reed just talked about using the iPad instead of carrying a whole volume of catalog books around the sale. And there's still people that do, but most I'm seeing are using the iPad. So let's talk a lot about the iPad sales catalog app, including where you can find it, how much does it cost to download, and how long has this been around? And then I'm going to ask you to do a demo on some of the features. So give us some background on the sales catalog app, what it costs, and so on.
Sure, it's a free app to download. It's only available in the iTunes store at this point in time. That very well may change in the future, but currently that is only located in the Apple iTunes store. It was developed in 2011. Hard to believe that it's been 15 years now.
Wow.
Time flies in this business, but it was developed in 2011 with the simple thought of, now that these iPads are available, you know, we would all go to farm offices and see individuals' offices just littered with bookshelves and catalogs on them. And, you know, this tool, the iPad, allowed us to create that library right there on a single device. So there was never a question of, when you're attending a 2-year-old sale, did I look at this horse as a yearling? And if so, what did I think, right? So now it's just all right there. They can look up that historical ratings or short list that you might have put on a horse, or whether you like the horse or not, for that matter. So everything is right at your fingertips now, and you don't have to run back to the office and check old catalogs to do your research at night. So it has really, really revolutionized the way individuals navigate the sales. And I think there's a lot of things to come in the future. Just a little tickler here. We are currently in the process of rewriting this app, so I do anticipate a new version of that coming out later this year, and it will have a lot of neat new features as well.
Yeah, and it's free now, and it's always been free to download. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, what a great service. So Jacob, before we jump into the demo, is that something you use on a regular basis?
I am a converted iPad user at the sales now. I used to be strictly catalogs. I was that guy that Tim was talking about, walking around with printed out catalogs in my hand, but now I am a full-on iPad crossover man. So
Great. Yeah. Well, I remember 15 years ago when it first came out, we would see a handful of people using it. Now, I was at the OBS sale not too long ago, and just about everybody had the iPad in their hand. So Tim, why don't we go ahead and take some time and do a demo of the app, and then I'm going to have some questions about it for you as you go along.
Okay. Yeah, let me just pull that up here. I've lost it here. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Pardon me. No.
And Tim, while you're doing that, I'm assuming that that app works for just about any sale. I know we've got Keeneland as a sponsor and Reed representing Keeneland, but I'm assuming that if a sale's going on in Florida or somewhere else, that the app, you can download those catalogs for just about any sale. Is that correct?
That is correct. I'm trying to get the slideshow here. Pardon me.
Okay. Yep.
Came off the slideshow whenever that got pulled onto the screen. Yes, it's actually used internationally, Gary. So you can find this being available for sales throughout the entire globe, whether it be Japan, Australia, England, Ireland, France. It is available internationally. I can't think of any major jurisdiction to where it's not available. So really all of your major auction houses throughout the globe, you can now download the sale and treat it just like a North American sale.
Okay, so we see that on the screen. So why don't you go ahead and take over?
Good. All right, thank you. So as I previously mentioned, one of the initial thoughts of this was to simply have your own library of all of your sales that you've downloaded. And you can see this is just my particular device. I've got a Japanese sale, I've got a Tattersall sale, a Arcana sale. You know, sales throughout the entire globe are all available here at my fingertips. And so essentially what you do as a user, you download it from the available sales location. And then once you've downloaded it, it's part of your library until you delete it or don't. And then you can open it up and see everything that the physical catalog would have and more. So just a couple of images of the screens themselves and a couple of items to point out. We call these things flyouts, and they're up on your screen, and you'll see the little arrows in the top left-hand corners and then the updates button. And each one of these are just kind of hiding or suppressing information that's available on this particular horse that isn't part of the actual catalog page itself. And so
let me ask you on that updates flyout. So if I tapped on that, does something show up on the screen?
It does, yes. And I will bring that up in just a couple of slides here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to show here is one of the very unique and also beneficial benefits of this is that the ratings, confirmation, and veterinary, all of those categories are user defined. Now, when you download the app for the first time, it comes with preloaded information in there, but every user can customize this to their own rating systems. If they use 5 pluses, A pluses, B minuses, it can all be tailored and customized to the user themselves.
So the A plus on this horse, is that something that came from Keeneland?
No, that came from me, and it's probably bogus information. I would not rely on what you're seeing on my screens today by any means.
So any person that downloads this and uses it can create their own rating system. That's
correct, as well as their confirmation notes or any other category that they wish to include, so that it pops up on the screen as visually apparent to them that they need to remember that.
Okay, great.
And then, as Gary pointed out, you touch that updates button, and it will pop up with updates for this particular horse. As we've previously discussed with Reed, these are updated on a nightly basis if updates have taken place. And so, you know, this covers the first and second dam. You can only see 2 horses there, but had you have actually scrolled up, you would actually see more family members there that also have had a racing update since when the racing cutoff date was created for this particular sale. Now, one thing that I will note is that I unfortunately don't have an example of this with this older sale, but as Reed previously pointed out, Keeneland does have a very unique update report called the Dynamic Pedigree. And this will actually pull up an edited catalog style pedigree in which you can change the colors of the updates. You can have a little sliding bar to say, I only want to see updates in the last week or the last 4 weeks. It is very much an interactive pedigree and the first of its kind for the business. And apologize for not having a sample of that, but I just simply didn't have one for today's meeting.
Okay, that's fine.
And then you also have auction history for any horses that were, as they're going through the ring, the auction houses are actually sending auction results to the app themselves, as well as supplying walking videos, any additional information on those horses, photos, so on and so forth. So all of the items that you could find more than likely on the Keeneland website in this particular example will also come over to the app because they're sharing that information with the app as well.
So what's the source of the walking video? Is that the user taking a video at the sale, or what exactly is that?
No, that's Reed, would you like to speak on that, how those come about, whether it be the consignor or the sellers themselves?
Yeah, so generally the consigners will post them through the portal, but the owners of the horse or the farm where the horse is living, they've got the option to do it themselves as well.
Okay, all right. So you could be at home looking at the pedigrees. There's a walking video. You can actually see the horse before you even attend the sale.
Correct.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
Great.
Now, to that point though, Gary, on this far right-hand toolbar on the right side, you do see a camera available. Users, once they're actually at the sales grounds, if they wish to take a picture or a video and link to it, they can do so under that area of the app as well.
Okay, and store it with this pedigree?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good.
The tool, just like a catalog, you know, users always wanted to circle things or make stars or highlight items on the page that always would jump out to them. So we've created a suite of tools within the app that also allows users very similar annotation capabilities to what they would have had in the traditional catalog as well.
So to circle this, you need a stylus to do that?
You can do it all with your finger, or a stylus will obviously give you a little bit better rendition on the page itself.
So just make sure you have your sharpened finger ready to go and you can circle. What about the highlights? Same with the highlights?
Yes, the highlight you can do as well. All by the finger. Actually, the
tools on the right.
This came out prior to the Apple Pen, so it was all used just by finger for the longest time.
Okay, and that's what those tools are on the right for using that for. Okay,
that is correct.
Great.
This is another example of just how you would actually perform a rating. So you simply touch the word ratings, and then you select whichever the items is that this horse you wish to rate the horse as.
Okay.
Another very key feature to this, and what a lot of users, I'm sure Jacob himself would use this for, would be to add horses to a short list. And so again, customizable. You can see how several of these, shortlist 4, 5, 6, you know, out of the box, it's going to have just those generic names. But by selecting that edit button, you can simply modify the names. So this horse is on my first look list, and then he may get put on my vet list. And then if he passes the first 2 short lists, he may make it onto my bid list.
Okay, so but this is all customizable.
All customizable.
Okay, great.
And so you can see here's just a list of the different horses that I've actually assigned to my first look list. And then you can go through here. You can see in that right-hand column to where it says viewed. if you wanted to denote that you'd already looked at the horse, or you can actually just touch the horses anywhere on that little line, and it will take you to that actual catalog page.
So if you create a short list, say there's 15 horses on it, do I need to look at them one at a time, or can I just say, show me all 15 and give me my little mini catalog here?
Yeah, very good question, Gary. Yeah, down in the bottom left-hand corner, you will see an area that says view all pages. And it does just that. It creates a little mini catalog, as you've described, for you just to see the horses on this particular short list, just to be able to page through them, and they're gonna be in hip number order.
So in the past, we see people walking around with catalog books, and they have those little green stickers on the pages and yellow stickers and a whole rainbow of stickers that created their short list. Now it's all electronic.
Exactly. This makes it all digital for the buyers.
Okay. All right. What else?
This is just another couple of screens of different indexes that we have built into the app itself. Some people like to navigate the sales by going by consigners. Some like to say, I want to look at, all of a certain sire. Others may want to look at dams or navigate the actual their routes via the barn. So each one of these little taps or these little buttons allow you a different way to view the indexes. And these are very similar to what you find in the printed book.
Okay. So for example, if, okay, so you're on the search screen, can you go to that search screen?
Okay.
So if somebody was interested in, say, I want to look at just grandsons and granddaughters of Tapit, is there a search option for that to create a mini list of just grandsons and granddaughters of, we'll just say Tapit?
Yeah, so you can certainly search by a number of different ways on here, but it's primarily by horse type and then by sire itself. So you can say, okay, I want to see all of fillies by Tapit, or I want to see who the foal is out of a particular dam. But we don't currently allow for you to go a second generation into this search screen. But you can search by, again, horse type. So if you're only interested in broodmare and racing prospects, you can select that and then show me those by Tapit as well, and then that would then pull up. Another new feature that we've just recently added in here is called Hip IQ, and this is a little chat bot. So it's a really fun little tool to play around with. You can ask it to add all foals by war fronts to a short list, and it would verbally interpret that and then add those horses to a short list for you. So it does a lot of neat little things. You can also ask it questions on how many colts are by Into Mischief in session 1, so on and so forth. So it's a neat little tool to help users, especially novice users to the app, to learn how to navigate it and make the most of it. But more importantly, you can drill down and ask it some specific questions and have it assist you in how you might want to navigate the sale. I don't know if we lost Gary there or not, but I'm going to charge on with another tool here, and that's called the Mare Produce Records. And this is something, is it still showing there?
Yeah,
okay,
you can see it.
Thank you. It's just yet another tool that would allow you real-time access to seeing updated information on any of these horses. It's also widely used throughout the industry. It provides you with a listing of complete mare's produce listing with who the foals are in chronological order, who they're by, date of birth, color, sex, their last occurrence of auction history, and any race earnings and their best race class. And then by touching on any one of those race earnings, it would take you to that horse's tabulated race record, along with some, drop off. As long as any black type information. And then the same can be said with the auction history. By touching on the price, then it would bring up the horse's complete auction history as well. with who the buyers were, who consigned it, so on and so forth. That is the end of my presentation.
Thanks, Tim. I think somehow we lost Gary. I think he's gonna leave and try to come back on again.
Okay.
We will see what happens. So let's see where we should go now. Oh, there he is. Oh, no, that's Reed. So we're having some technical issues here, folks. Sorry about that. We are trying to get Gary back on again. We got Reed back. Just give us 1 second. So I know Gary was going to ask you a few questions, and I know he's going to ask Tim and Eric if there are any other products offered on Equine Line or Blood Horse that could assist buyers at the sales. Can we go ahead and start with Eric?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll share this real quick. There's a lot of information available on bloodhorse.com. This is the our sales page. No one is going to lack for any opportunity to get the information that they need, for sure. And you'll see here in the banner, for example, we stream the under tack shows at the 2-year-old and training sales, so you can watch horses work. This page here is underneath our sales resources, and this is a search all results. So if you wanted to look at how a particular sire maybe has done during the 2-year-old season, for example, you might look at Liam's map, and he's the sire, and you look at this year, and you might want to look at his 2-year-olds. This will give you a real quick snapshot of how his horses have done, shows how many have sold, what their average is, and then you can go down and you can see, and this is sorted by price, the top horses that Liam's map has sired and how they've done. This shows you the sale. It shows you Liam's map and the dam and the broodmare sire, the consignor and the buyer as well. So there's a lot of information here. We have a lot of leaders lists. There's a lot of ways you can slice and dice this information.
I would just add also the sire list. Eric, I think the sire lists are a valuable tool as well.
Yep, absolutely, and it can show you how to get there as well. I'm getting kind of a strange echo right now. Are you hearing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe Reed or Gary being if they just came on.
All right. I will.
Gary, we've got you back, Gary. Can you try talking? I think you might be the problem with the.
Okay, so can you guys hear me okay? Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, apologize for all the technical difficulties. And Tim, did you wrap things up with the sales catalog app?
We charged on without you, Gary.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, every now and then some program or some process comes into the industry that really transforms that process. And that sales catalog app, it really has transformed how people research pedigrees and research information at the sales. And I think it's just a great tool. And audience, if you haven't used it, certainly recommend it. Just realize it's for free. All you need is an iPad.
Yeah.
Okay. So Eric, when I came back in, you were going over some auction information that you have at Blood Horse. Did you get through that okay?
I did. Tim had mentioned sire lists. I can show you just real quick how we get to those. Under stallions and breeding, we have sires lists, so you can look here and see how what's happening with leading sires right now. This is the North American list. And, this is top earners and progeny earnings and winners and starters. And it's another valuable resource to see, what's happening with progeny, as of this year. So current information. Oh, Gary, looks like you're muted.
We good now?
Yes.
Okay, so Jacob, I know we talked about the sales catalog app. I just want to circle back to it. Talk about a little bit about how you actually use the app when you're creating your short list. And you don't have to give away all your secrets, but is that maybe you can just share some of your thoughts?
No, I think that it's an incredibly useful tool, just the app in general. But what I love about it is being able to go through and work through our short list, horses that pass your first look, second look, then add it onto a vet list, and then who comes off the vet list and who can we bid on. The other thing that I think is great about the tool is the accessibility and the ease in which you can share your short list, either within somebody else who's using the app or email the actual list to a potential client or prospective buyer. So they know where you're at and what's past, your kind of inspections and where you're going to be at going forward. So the ease in which you can do that, as opposed to, like you were saying back in the day, having the catalog, the printed catalog page and having to go home, write everything out on a yellow legal notepad, take a picture of it, text it, or text out the information or email it. I mean, it's made life so much easier. And we actually use the tool where you can convert it over to an Excel spreadsheet, and it all goes into a spreadsheet, and it makes life a lot easier for kind of our buying team, so that we can check off, what horse is on whose list and who's passed the horse how many times, and so on and so forth. So it's a tool that I like to think, I don't know how we did it a couple of years ago before all of us got converted over, but it's very, very helpful.
Okay. And an audience, I just want to remind you, we're getting close to the end. So if you have any questions for any of the speakers, just submit your questions using that Q&A feature. So Eric, you had a chance while I was off talk about some products at Bloodhorse. Tim, is there any other products at Equine Line that you want to point out that would be useful at the sales?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a wide variety of different reports that we offer on Equine Line. I think Eric mentioned it. I mean, there's a lot of free resources out there, whether it be on the Bloodhorse searching auction results, whether it be on Keeneland's website or within the app that they're providing the updates on, via the app or on their website, which is always updated. But sure, we offer a wide variety of different catalog style pedigrees or produce records, just to get the most up-to-date information. But the good news about today's environment is, the auction houses are supplying a lot of this information, and they're making that readily available to buyers and sellers alike. Their job is to recruit buyers to the sales as well as horses, and they want to provide as many tools and resources to make their life easier as buyers to be able to conduct business. So I do give a lot of credit to the auction houses, because they're putting a lot of information out there, updated information to supplement these catalog pages for the buyers and sellers alike.
Okay, good. So got a couple more questions. Reed, I'll just jump to you. Can you just briefly talk about the repository and how that's used at the sale, and what might be beneficial to our audience to just learn about how the repository is used, and is there anything that they could benefit from that?
Well, unsolicited advice, I would tell everyone to get their veterinarian to the repository. So that's not typically information that's supplied to buyers. You need to access that information through the portal with your consignor or your veterinarian, or visit the repository on site at Keeneland. But basically, it provides a set of x-rays and scope on the horse's throat that's available to every single buyer before the horse ships to the sale.
Okay, very good. So I'd like to wrap up with a question for everyone. what advice do you have for potential buyers that's going to help them make purchase decisions based on all the different tools available to them? And there's a lot of tools, there's a lot of information out there. So Eric, just what advice would you give to a potential buyer?
Do your homework. I mean, I would say, you know, allow yourself the time to do the research, surround yourself with people who are smart and know horses and know conformation and can look at them and give you fair, honest assessment of what they see. I mean, usually multiple eyes, multiple views on a horse is the way to go. And, you know, take advantage of all this information that's available to you because it'll serve you well.
Okay. Reed, what would you like to add to that?
Well, I think most of all, you must be present to win. So if you're going to attend a Keeneland sale, I would block off a large amount of days on your calendar because it's really kind of an organic breathing thing that changes so much over the course of 2 weeks. The horses themselves, the pedigrees themselves. So my advice is to get there, take it all in, have a plan, and get people around you that you're comfortable with, and most of all, you can have fun with. That's why we've all gotten into this. We've got a passion for it, but we love horse racing, and get in with people that you can communicate with and have fun with. And
Great.
But
right,
get
Tim,
there
what would
for
you
as
like?
many days as you can.
Okay. So Tim, what's your advice to potential buyers?
Well, I think I'm gonna piggyback off of both of my colleagues here. I mean, do your due diligence, you know, research as much as you can. Information's powerful, but I would rely on others as well. Speaking for myself, I don't have the best eye for confirmation, so I would trust a professional such as a Jacob here that could give me additional insights or, you know, just knowledge about what we're looking at. But, you know, you put a team together, and to Reed's point, have fun. You know, always assemble a group of people that you want to be around, because you could spend a lot of time searching for a diamond in the rough. And you know, it is a lot of fun. But definitely do your due diligence and put a good team together.
Okay, Jacob, put a bow around this. What do you think? Go ahead.
Yeah, I explained to everybody, you know, kind of the way I approach it is it's almost you're a little bit of a chef. You know, there's a sprinkle of ingredients of kind of three main factors that are pedigree, conformation, and vetting. Historically speaking, if those three things are good, that normally equals dollar sign. So understand that if you're going into a sale and you're trying to find that diamond in the rough, so to speak, you might have to give up something on one of those three factors. But to touch on what everybody else said, just do your homework. You know, get up early, work hard, look at as many horses as you can, talk to as many people as you can, gather opinions, and then formulate your own opinion at the end of the day. So it's a fun process. It's a lot more fun when it works out and they're standing in the winner's circle.
For sure. All right. Good conclusion. So that wraps up our panel discussion. So now we're going to move into the Q&A session. So while we sort through the questions, let's hear from our Q&A sponsor, West Point Thoroughbreds. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Passion, performance, and the pursuit of excellence.
At West Point, the horses are the heart of what we do. The partners really are the soul.
The bar that they set is different than everybody else. This starts and ends with the care of the horses.
This is a real immersive experience.
Okay, thank you, West Point. So first question in the queue, I think this one would be for Eric. Please explain the 5 dosage numbers and what they mean in your auction edge example, 5, 13, 10, 0, 0. So do you want to take a stab at that, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I will give you a very, very broad description of dosage because we could spend a lot of time talking about that. But essentially, dosage is built off of identifying certain stallions within a pedigree that they are referred to as chefs de race, and that these horses are then assigned based on their racing abilities a certain aptitude. And that ranges from brilliance, which is sprinting short distance, to professional, which is long distance, we're talking, mile and a half and up, so stamina. And so and then in the very middle of that spectrum is classic. So these horses, depending upon where they are in the pedigree, get assigned a numerical value, and that builds what you see in that profile, that dosage profile. And then you have the dosage index and the center of distribution, which are all, again, built off of that spectrum. So I mean, some people will tell you that the center of distribution is more important to them than what the profile itself shows. And so, the bigger that number, that center of distribution, where it is on the balance board, the bigger that number is, the more towards stamina you go. The lower end, the more towards speed you go. So that it just gives you again another slice of information to look at and give you some indication of what the aptitude of this particular horse might be based on the pedigree. So again, this is not built on confirmation. This is not how the horse that's put together in front of you looks. This is strictly a pedigree thing.
Okay, and there's a two-part question from this person saying my favorite dosage is 3.00, and they're asking, what is your favorite dosage number?
I don't have a favorite.
Okay.
It all depends on what the horse is that you're looking at and what you want. What do you want? What are you looking for?
Okay. Anybody else want to chime in on dosage? Okay. All right. Next question on the sales catalog app. Will it work on an iPhone? Tim?
Not currently, but there are plans for the next release to be able to work not only on an iPhone, but also be able to port your data from your iPad or iPhone up to your desktop PC. So you'll be able to conduct your work on your desktop now, and then that will all come down to your iPad and vice versa. So constant communication between multiple devices for single individuals. And we'll also have intentions of rolling it out on the Android platform as well.
And I assume you're still going to keep it free.
The basic app will be free, but there will be some upsell, upcharge opportunity, especially for the different communications between all the different platforms.
Okay. Next question is, are there any plans to integrate the iPad app with Auction Edge?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't elaborate any more than that, but yes.
Okay. So here's an interesting question. Every consignor has a vet report that they tend to show people at the sale. So is it possible to include that vet report on the Keeneland site or on the catalog app? So not the repository, but you got, we're talking about the vet report that each consignor carries around. Any discussions about?
Reed, do you want to start on that one, or?
I'm going to turn that one over to you. I don't know where we are. I don't know where we are in the process. I can tell you I've seen many buyers taking pictures of vet reports at barns and downloading them straight into their app or into their iPad. But I don't know where we are logistically with having that available. Do you know, Tim?
Yeah, I don't, to be honest with you. I don't have any, personal insights into that. my gut says that, I mean, could it be done? I think yes. The simple answer is yes. With time and effort, that could probably be figured out, but it kind of opens up more questions than it does answers for me. You know, there's a lot of different versions of that. There's a lot of interpretation. Right. You know, sometimes consigners want to actually share verbally with what the vet has indicated on the sheets, and maybe not just blindly put it out there for anyone and everyone. So I don't know. I had never really thought about it, but my gut would say most consigners would want to be able to at least talk to the point rather than just blindly giving it to everybody and potentially turning them away or onto a horse. But I don't know. Jacob, what would you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I can see the positives and the negatives that would come with it. I think from a seller side, you might not want them to do that. You want them to come by the barn and see the horse first and then disclose that information. But, you know, that would be a group discussion, I think, for a lot of different people.
Okay. All right. So that wraps up our Q&A, guys. So audience, if you have any follow-up questions for today's speakers, we're going to put their names and email addresses up on the screen. So you can contact Tim or Eric, Reed or Jacob. And you don't have to jot these down right now because, as you know, we have this all recorded and you can come back to this page at any time to get their information. So I'd really like to thank the panelists for their time and you guys, your insight today. Great topic, a lot of good information. So thanks a lot, Eric, Reed, Jacob, Tim. Thanks for being here and sharing your experience. With you guys have a lot of experience in this area. We sure appreciate it.
Thank
you, Gary. Appreciate you having us.
I also like to thank today's panel sponsor, Muirfield Insurance and Juddmonte Farm. But mostly, I'd like to thank our audience for being here and to all owners for investing in our sport. While we have many stakeholders in the industry, and there are many stakeholders, it's always been my belief that owners are the most important and needed participants. So thank you very much, owners. Do want to make an announcement. If you haven't heard, there's a new website promoting ownership that's being developed by America's Best Racing as part of a national marketing campaign to promote new ownership. And it's all, as part of OwnerView. So if you know someone considering ownership, please direct them to this new site to learn about the various ownership options. And there's links on that site over to the traditional OwnerView website. And you can reach that website at ownerviewracing.com. So a great initiative going on. In fact, I even saw a great story today about a new owner in one of the publications. So just keep that in mind if you know somebody thinking about getting involved in ownership. So we'll be back in July with a new topic. So until then, stay safe, enjoy the summer racing, and we hope you visit the Winner's Circle and you visit it often. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.